Greetings from Las Vegas. We are Las Vegas locals, been here for about 20 years, and on this channel we enjoy primarily taking day trips around the Las Vegas Valley area to explore areas around here and possibly give locals and tourists suggestions or ideas for fun places to do for day trips on their own, whether it's in a Corvette or a motorcycle or a Jeep or whatever. And it occurred to me that it might be useful. I'm by no means a professional videographer, or you have these seasoned pros out there like Norley with Itchy Boots and Eric with Moto. These guys that are these people that have been doing this for years and are fantastic. Amazing at their coverage and footage. I'm doing this primarily when I started off for fun. I like to capture some of these activities, share them with friends. In the beginning, it was just about sharing ride videos with other people that I was riding with. So it can be a little daunting to figure out what kind of gear do you use to capture these videos, whether it's for a YouTube channel that you want to try and grow, or if it's just for your friends and you just want to share some videos, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or TikTok or whatever. So over the years, I'm actually, ironically a little bit here, recording this video to talk about my DJI equipment with an old GoPro Hero 7 because I wanted to be able to show all the DJI stuff I use on my current recordings. So let's get into that. I've gradually gone into, and I made it to the point where it's easy. So when I go, for example, yesterday, my Scrambler is a little dirty right now because I went for a short ride with a friend, and my wife came along in our Cherokee, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to record anything. I didn't, because it was just, hey, let's just go have a little bit of fun. But I brought my recording kit, and this is it. It's a little Amazon case, and this is everything I use currently for recording rides. I also have, now to be fair, I also have an Insta360 and a DJI drone that I'm learning to use those, but rarely is the Insta360 is great for certain circumstances, but it's a real pain in the butt for editing. It's great that you can capture all this video with it, but it takes a really long time to decide where you want those video, where you want it to be pointed afterwards. So for the most part, it's just DJI cameras and mics and some mounting stuff. So I'm going to show you what I'm using. Maybe it'll help you in your quest to do some recordings of your own. So simple Amazon inexpensive case. Links to all of this stuff will be in the description. And I bought all this stuff myself. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Get that out of the way. I trial and error with a lot of things. I've tried a lot of different things, and this is what's working for me right now. So for starters, my initial camera from DJI was this one. This is the DJI Osmo Action 4. Really small, and like I say, these things, they all just fit in here. And just as a summary real quick, I have my basically the little DJI selfie stick in here, which doubles as a tripod, my Action 4, my Action 5, my DJI Mic 2, my remote, 4 batteries plus the charger, and then I also have the Mini, which I'll use sometime. I'll explain that in a little bit. That was sort of an experiment that's really unnecessary. But so that's it, and it all fits in this cute little case. Toss it in the back of the car. If you don't end up using it, no big deal. So initially, I started off with the Action 4. Fantastic deal, I don't know, a year ago or so. Costco had a bundle with this that included the camera, the battery, and this is an essential necessity, this little selfie stick they have. They call it something else, but so This, I started off mounting, I figured out a good way to mount it to my helmet, and I'll show you that in a second. This little stick expands out to about that far, and then it also has little feet, so you can set it anywhere if you want. Like if you're at a restaurant or a table, a picnic table outside or something, and you just want to talk to the camera for a minute. The other magic about these DJI cameras, and I don't know how many of them use this, but the mount for this, it's a magnetic mount with some actual clips, and you just snap it on there. That's it. It's on there, and I've used this on my on dirt road handlebar mount or on my motorcycle mount. This is solid. So this is fantastic. So when you're when you're actually in a spot and you want to walk around and talk about where you are, the head on this tips a little bit. Boom, there you go. You're recording yourself. Fantastic. So between that and the Action 5, which I got later, they're both interchangeable. On the mounts, they both use the same batteries. The newer ones have 1950 milliamp batteries, the Action 5 does, but they also still work in the Action 4. So there's slightly higher capacity on the batteries, but they're the same shape and size. So that is fantastic. So then you think, okay, that's great. How do I record audio? This has been fantastic, amazing. This is the DJI Mic 2. I think there's a Mic 3 that just recently came out, which might be the better choice now if you want to get whatever's the latest is, but I think these are about $100. This can clip to your shirt if you want to just clip it like that, or your jacket, whatever. It pairs directly to the Action 4 or the Action 5, one or the other, not both. And you can also just record directly to this. If for some reason there's a problem with the link to the camera, there's not a problem, but you can also, it's got internal storage you can record to. It also has a tiny magnet, a super strong magnet on the back that you can put inside your shirt, and then anywhere you want, it'll stick like that. Now, this is maybe in my opinion, one of the most valuable parts about this video right here. How do you get this? How do you get audio inside your helmet? And that is a big one. And there's a little teaser. Before I get to the audio on the helmet, how do you get your camera on your helmet? This is a chin mount from a company called Go-Moto. This piece right here, and it comes with 3M adhesive, and some of the chin mounts are insanely huge. They're big straps that go over here, big straps and all this, and I didn't want to do that. This Climb Krios Pro helmet, it's the best helmet anybody's ever designed. It's fantastic, and I didn't want to jack it up with some kind of a weird mounting thing. And this is really small. When you're not using a camera on it, to me, you hardly even notice that it's got a camera mount on it. So what it comes with is just a little clip, and these are replaceable. I did have the original one broke and I had to get them, but you can get replacement clips aftermarket, and it's simply, that's it. It slides into the permanent chin mount, and then your camera snaps on, and boom, that's what I use. I've been using that for over a year now, and it's great. And your head is, image stabilization on these is great, but your head is also the gimbal effect. And being able to get, wherever you look, it's capturing whatever you're looking at. It's amazing. The other part, I started off with mounting the camera to the handlebars facing forward, and of course that's somewhat limited because you're thinking, geez. So this is an amazing thing. So I tried it a couple of times just like that, and you could talk and you'd pick it up, the audio would pick up your voice somewhat, but as soon as you get moving, the wind noise and everything made it unusable. So how do you get this into your helmet reliably? Well, let me show you what it looks like. I found this tip from some other person on YouTube that was talking about it. It says 8.5 by 11 inch flexible steel sheet. So this is basically a rubber piece of 8.5 by 11. It's not paper, but it's just a piece of rubber with adhesive on the back that has been, I guess they call it, impregnated with steel. So there's a magnetic property, or this is steel, so a magnet will attach to it. So I cut out a little piece from the corner and I stuck it to the inside of the helmet right here. And then when I want to ride, I just put the mic right there, and that's it. So I don't know how well that's visible in there, but when you have the helmet on and you put that up in there, you can also just slightly feel it from your chin or your lips. So I'm paranoid all the time about losing stuff, so I'm kind of like, is it still there? Yes, it is. So once you get that thing in there, it's there. It's not a problem. And and again, your head is your shock absorber and your gimbal and all that sort of stuff. So you don't have to worry about, super hard abrasive hits that might knock it out, but it has never shifted, never fallen out. And once it's in there, the mic is right next to your mouth. So the audio is quite clear. And I still have a tendency to talk a little louder than I probably need to, especially if I'm on the highway doing 80 or 90 miles an hour. But it's very clear because the audio is right there. Fantastic. Now, when the mic Mini came out from DJI, this little guy, I thought, and it's half the price, only $50. I thought, this is amazing. Because same deal. Flip the helmet over, pop this thing in there, and now it's an even smaller microphone sitting right there in your helmet, and it works. But once you get up around 60 miles per hour or so, for whatever reason, wind noise starts to make the audio super choppy. And they do come with the fuzzy dead cat thing, whatever you call that, to snap onto the top of this. I had that on there, it didn't make any difference. So this is really, for high-speed recording, I wouldn't recommend this. However, anytime I'm doing a recording in the garage or in the backyard, around the house where I'm not going to be riding, I just clip this to my shirt and it's there and you forget about it and it's not very noticeable. So it is really good for that. So I'm still happy that I have it, but it's not really what it was intended for. And honestly, I could just use this for everything. I don't need to have a second one. So oops on that. Another piece that I use quite a bit, and it's not necessary, but it's kind of a safety benefit, this is they call it the DJI Osmo Bluetooth GPS action remote, something like that. So this goes around your handlebar, and it actually pairs to both remotes. I've struggled a little bit occasionally with it, maintaining a connection between both, but it's kind of a learning curve for me. But even if you only have one camera, it's much safer, considering that the record button is on the right hand side. You'd have to take your hand off the throttle to turn the record button on, or to start recording, to press the record button. This, you put it right next to your hand grip on your handlebars, and when you need to start recording, you just hit boom, record. When you want to stop, stop. And it tells you right on the screen if it's recording or if it's paused. This is great because then you don't have to, it would be beep, turn on the camera, and then just let that thing go. And it's much better if you can do, 30-second, 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, whatever chunks on your camera for editing later on. It's a lot easier if you can break it down like that. So then after a while, I used to use this GoPro camera for a front-facing camera. Oh, here's another benefit. Eventually, I went out and splurged and got the Action 5, so I would have DJI for both of these. I keep the mic paired to the one on my helmet. So that's the one, when you turn the camera on, within about 3 seconds, when the camera and mic are on, it says mic 2 connected, and you can even see a little green bar going across showing you that it's connected and working. The nice thing with the remote, though, is it will pair to both cameras. You turn this on, you turn these on. It's a little bit of a process to get them both paired. You have to go into multicam mode on this. There's videos out there on just how to do all that if you choose to do it this way. But then the nice thing is your video is synced to the audio, because the audio is only recording on this camera. When you have a second camera, if they're not perfectly synced, that's why you'll see people do the, the hand clap thing, or in movies they'll do the clap or whatever when they're starting a scene. It's that noise, that clap, that you're able to take the audio and kind of line it up and sync it to the video. If you don't even have to do that, if the audio and video is already synced between two cameras, it also makes editing much smoother. Because I used to have to do that with the GoPro. I would sit there and try and turn the power on the handlebars and the helmet at the same time to try and hope that they were somewhat synced, and they were always, I don't know, a second or whatever off, which isn't horrible if your mouth is covered. But anyway, that is fantastic for these. So then the question is, so we have the camera, we talked about mounting it to the helmet, microphone for the helmet, remote control to turn both of them on. I also have, this is convenient, it's a 3-battery charger that you can put, instead of charging the remote batteries inside the cameras, you can have the batteries in here. Oh, and by the way, I only have 4 batteries, that's it. I put the 2 in the cameras when I'm riding, and then 2 spares, 1 spare for each camera, and that's it. So typically for most day trips, that's all you need. So how do you get the, oh, one more thing I have to mention. It's not quite so critical on the helmet, but I think it's important. The mount that comes with, the official DJI mount that comes with the camera is plastic. There are some metal components in it. Of course, it's it's a magnetic mount plus these clips. But if you're mounting the camera directly to your handlebars for the front-facing one, I'm a little concerned about using a plastic mount for that. So there's a brand out there that's super highly recommended, and I think it's primarily a brand that makes accessories for photography called SMALLRIG. And on my helmet mount, I use one. On my handlebar mount for the Tiger, I use one. And on the handlebar mount for the Scrambler, I use the same brand for all of them. And it's probably easiest to see this one. You know what? I'm just gonna, well, I can't really pop that one off. This is straight up, and I don't want to mess with my angles. This one's probably fine. When you pull this thing off, it's metal. It's all metal. The legs, I think the legs are, yeah, the legs are metal. I think it's all aluminum. So it feels much more solid. And this is really cool too. The legs fold up, and on the inside is a standard tripod mount. So if you wanted to mount your camera on a standard tripod, there you go. You have a connector for that too if it comes up. So in my opinion, for durability, if you're doing motorcycle or any other mountain biking, let's say, action activities with these cameras where you get a lot of jolting, I think this is safer than using the standard plastic one that they come with, and they're, I don't know, $16, something like that. You can get them on Amazon. Okay, so from that, how do you get the front-facing cameras easily mounted on the handlebars so that so it's not a huge chore? part of this is it's got to be fun, right? So if it is a huge pain in the butt to get your camera on your helmet or on your handlebars, get these things running, you're gonna, I just don't feel like it. You're just not, you may just not do it. All right, so on the Scrambler, I have, for the handlebar mount, I have a ram mount, ball mount that is attached to my Parkbuster handguard rail here. And then I simply take, this is the ram mount's 6-inch long arm, I think call it the long arm, and a ram mount action camera ball mount adapter here, and then that SMALLRIG adapter at the top. So this just pop it on here. You also want this to be easy, because if you stop at a restaurant, go in for, you don't want to leave your camera sitting out on the bike while you go in. So you want to be able to pop this stuff out on and off easy. So then that's it. It's mounted. You take the camera and you pop it on, and it's, you know, super durable. And then with the DJI cameras, they have a front-facing screen, so you turn the power on, make sure that your head is in frame and not chopping off the top of it or anything like that, and you're good to go. And then that remote control, strap it onto your handlebar right here, so when you're ready to turn the video on and off, you just boop, boop, you just do it right there, and it will do the one on your helmet and on your front-facing camera at the same time. On the Tiger, I have to move the camera, it's a little bit different on that one, but it's similar orientation, but it's even easier on the Tiger. Let me show you how that one's done. For the Tiger, for the front-facing camera mount, I'm using quad lock components along with that same SMALLRIG camera mount. And on my Tiger, I have a accessory handle here. This is the handle that you use if you want to raise and lower the windscreen. And this one's 22 millimeters, something like that. So it's a little bit thicker quad lock mount. The original factory one from Triumph, you can also get a smaller quad lock bar mount that'll fit with that also, but this just happens to be the one I have. So then they also have quad lock cells. This is an action camera quad lock mount. So it's the typical action camera thing that you'd use with GoPros, that sort of thing. And it's just the standard quad lock concept where you snap it into place. So you depress the unlock lever, snap it into place, and then you take your front-facing camera, snap it into place, and that's it. Great thing about this is it's also somewhat protected from the wind, but it is always lined up. Your head is in frame, because you get that set up the first time you put it on, and then after that there isn't any, like with the ball mount I had on the Scrambler, you always have to make sure that it's lined up when you remount it. Not with this one. This has been another really simple, easy mount, so it makes it no hassle at all if you want to record a ride and have both angles included in your footage. So let's go back and look and see if there are any other little bits and pieces we have for recording your rides with DJI stuff, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, I have a whole list of things that I've collected over the last year or two for this, and we've really gone over everything: the DJI components, the SMALLRIG, camera mount, the flexible steel vinyl magnetically receptive sheet, the thing for inside the helmet. And by the way, the adhesive on that, for the piece inside the helmet, at one point I did notice that part of that vinyl rubber stuff was coming a little bit loose, so I just used some super glue in there just to make sure it was actually rock solid. The quad lock components, Amazon case for carrying everything, the RAM mount components for the Scrambler. So that's really it for all the stuff. And honestly, when I first started off with the DJI stuff, it was Action 5 mic 2, and the remote, and then mounting it to the helmet. And if all you want to do initially is just do camera mounted to your helmet with the Go-Moto or whatever brand you get for mounting it to your helmet, the initial camera, well actually it was the Action 4 originally, the mic 2, and then the remote. That was it, and that was great. So that's a a minimal startup just to get started in this and see if you like it. A tip on file copy with these things: I always used to pull the memory card out of the camera and put it into a card reader to copy to the PC. That's really slow though. The read speed in those card readers is quite slow. These DJI cameras have USB-C ports on them that you can use for charging or data transfer. I use them for data transfer, so the file copy to get the files off the camera into your PC is much faster if you do it that way. The other part of that I would recommend is leave the files, don't move them from the camera to the PC, copy them, and leave them on the camera until your next ride. Because then if you're editing and you go, oh, shoot, I just deleted a bunch of ride videos accidentally. Oh wait, they're still on the camera. So as long as you edit your stuff before you go on your next ride, that's just a sort of a little safety net for you. And then before every ride, I always just format the SD card. So it's there's so much, these memory cards, it doesn't take a ton of space for a pretty long ride anyway, so you don't necessarily have to delete them every time, but I just do that so it's clean. And after every ride, whatever I copy off the camera is just that ride's videos. And then the last part here is I wanted to mention editing software, because that's a real challenge when you're first starting off with this stuff too. I'm certainly no expert in editing video. I've learned a lot in the last year or so. I've been using for photo editing really basic stuff, cropping images, really basic enhancements, and maybe some really basic stuff, generating thumbnails for YouTube videos. I use something called paint.net. This is free. It's an open source thing that was developed by a university student, Rick Brewster, a Washington State University student, as a school project back in 2004. I've been using this for 20 years, and it's like a step up. He was trying to create something better than Paint with the basic image editing software on Windows, and this is much better. It's by no means Photoshop or anything amazing like that, but I'm a bit of an Adobe hater, so I don't do anything with Adobe products at all. So Paint.net, really basic for image editing, and then for video editing, I have forced myself to start learning DaVinci Resolve from Blackmagic Design. This is a direct competitor for Adobe Premiere Pro and Apple's Final Cut Pro. It's got about as many users as Final Cut Pro now. There's something, I think they said their install base is over 2 million users now. This DaVinci Resolve has been around also since 2004, coincidentally. Blackmagic Design acquired them in 2009. Blackmagic Design is a professional video hardware company for Hollywood television productions and stuff like that, and they thought this would complement their hardware, the equipment that they sell for shooting videos for professional video projects. They have a studio version of DaVinci Resolve that is not free, and that includes extra stuff like 4K, beyond 4K, HDR features, AI features, stuff like that. But in the standard version, it is incredible, and there's so much you can do. And my thought is start with the basics, start editing, simply connecting video clips together to make a single clip that you want to share with people. Every time you run into a little speed bump or a stumbling point where you go, oh geez, I'm not sure how to do this, there are hundreds, maybe thousands of YouTube videos out there of tutorials on DaVinci Resolve, and a lot of them are just, hey, here's how you do that one thing you're trying to figure out. 30 seconds, boom, got it, done. And you just keep learning as you go by, and it's sky's the limit with this thing. An example of how good this is this is used in movie editing. Movies like, I went to Wikipedia to find some of this stuff. The Alien Covenant, Prometheus, Avatar, Bohemian Rhapsody, Deadpool 2, the Pirates of the Caribbean series, Spectre, some of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, Star Wars The Last Jedi, X-Men Apocalypse. Those movies were edited, at least in some part, by DaVinci Resolve. TV series include American Horror Story, Ash vs. Evil Dead, one of my favorites, Game of Thrones, Modern Family, The Big Bang Theory, Walking Dead, Westworld. These are some high production value things that have been at least somewhat edited, if not completely, by this software that all of us can use for free, and it works on PC or Mac. That's, just like I say, steep learning curve. Just be patient and take your time with it and you'll figure it out. So that is my summary with how do I DJI, and and if I wouldn't, ultimately this is where it all starts, right? Is you snap that mount on the front, you snap your camera on your helmet, and off you go, and have fun with it, and make it easy for yourself. Do yourself a favor, and it'll be fun. It won't be a burden, and you can share some of those ride videos with your friends, maybe even start publishing some of them on YouTube. So that's it for this one, and until next time, drive carefully and come back soon.